there's no cash in agents, so there's really no one. Are you ordering chicken or beef? Beef. And sorry, what was it? Apologies and bad names. Is it off today? Do you want your can now? Any burger that's according to your taste? How do you like it? Cheeseburger? No one. That's okay.
Hey guys, HW. I'm in Erskine Street, or the bottom of Erskine Street, at the intersection of Kent Street. I was watching another YouTuber this morning when I woke up, and the bugger was eating a quarter pounder. And then of course, that then gave me a hankering for a burger. So on the way into the city on the Iron Horse, I had a look at Google Maps, and I asked it to find me a burger in the city that was rated highly. And it came up with this joint here called Next Level. It does a series of burgers and kebabs and all sorts of things. And I just went with a simple cheeseburger. And it was delicious, let me tell you. And that was the burger that you saw in the previous clip. So let's get walking. And the temperature today in Sydney is going to be 28 degrees Celsius. And I haven't looked to see where the wind's coming from yet. The wind's coming from the southeast at 7 kilometres an hour. So you know what that means? On top of the 28 degrees Celsius that it's going to be, that's a bit of a tongue twister. That means it's going to be humid as hell, with the wind coming off the water at 7 kilometres an hour. It's going to be sticky, sticky, sticky. All the lunch monsters are still getting around, going to their favourite takeaway joints. I think I'm going to head down to the King Street Wharf and check out how the redevelopment of that's going, and then make my way along Darling Harbour. Hopefully get a little bit of a breeze off the water, see how we go. Looks like all the redevelopment's completed, all ready for summer. Get the masses down here smashing some food at lunchtime. Let's do a quick time lapse while we're here. That'll do. There he goes. He was a skater boy. So all these little ferries here, no, they're not little, they're big ones, but all these ferries, they'll be cranking up over the next couple of months for all of the work Christmas parties. Pretty much in Oz, once the Melbourne Cup is over, the horse race that stops a nation, next week, the Christmas parties will start after that. So while you might think that work comes to an end in Australia at Christmas time, it actually ends a lot earlier. The festivities will start from Melbourne Cup onwards. And people will go walkabout. And there won't be much work done, let me tell you. And that's years of experience of watching people at work. There's a group here that's waiting for a boat. It must be the organiser there. She had a roll call. It's a fancy looking yacht coming into King Street Wharf here. Very space age looking. A few people up the top deck. It's called the Shadow. Very sleek. Bit of cloud about down at Darling Harbour, but bloody hot in the sun, let me tell you. The girl I just passed there had a delicious looking sandwich. But I'm not hungry after that burger. That burger filled me up. It had a delicious smash patty on it. But I'd say next time I'll probably get a double. So I needed a bit more meat. Now as we cross over this threshold here, we're going to come into Tourist Central. All the tourists sucking in the amusements in the zoo, Wildlife Sydney, the aquarium and Madame Tussauds. I can hear loud music. At the wax joint they had Harry and Meghan at the front to welcome the punters. I wasn't going to film it with that loud racket going on in the background. There's a Hyatt Regency directly in front of us. Sneak down onto this little wharf. Wonder how long the camera's going to last in this heat. Supposed to be a thunderstorm this afternoon. I was watching another vid that I was watching this morning was the guys out at Sydney Airport filming the planes flying in and out. I think they're called SID Squad. And they mentioned there was a thunderstorm coming. Look up at these flags now. Definitely looks like the wind's starting to flip around. The wind's coming from the southeast and then flips around to the north. And back the other way as well. That's usually the unstable conditions that'll produce a thunderstorm. Not going to show it in this vid, but I'm looking over at the old Harbour side shopping centre across the water, and it looks like they're finally starting to make some progress above ground. They did a hell of a lot of work underground, but they're starting to make some progress on the upper decks. So that'll be something to film in a couple more months when it's more advanced. There's Cockle Bay Wharf in all its glory. I assume those birds there are those ones from the Northern Territory. I think they're called jibberoos, aren't they? I think. Or something like that. Collection of people at Nick's Seafood over there. He's smiling at everyone, trying to corral them into the restaurant. There's the W Hotel. A few of the windows open. I can see cleaners up there changing sheets and doonas. Yeah, look at the way the water's rippling there. So definitely the wind's changed in direction. Just realised I gave you a little sneak peek at the Harbour Side Shopping Centre. I wasn't planning on doing that, but I'm going to leave it there. I'm not going to cut it out. What I was going to say was, this reminds me just being on the edge of this wharf here. When I was a teenager, I was down here one night. This used to be a really popular place to go in Sydney for drinks. Old Darling Harbour. And I was standing here, but on the other side. So along this wharf, but just on the other side of the water. And I had this rustle in the water, or this ruckus. And I looked down. This massive tiger shark came up, opened its gob, and ate a whole bunch of rubbish that was floating on top of the water. Absolutely terrified me and my mate. We both witnessed it. Just sitting under the expressway above us because it's providing some shade. Gave me an opportunity to change the battery out as well because could fry an egg on it, it was so hot. These people have got the right idea. They're smashing down gelatos in the shade. $6.80 for one scoop, if you were wondering. See if we can make it down to Darling Square. Spy on the food monsters down there. That chap was kind enough to stay out of frame until I walked past. That breeze is making its way through the buildings and underneath its expressway. It's beautiful. Avoid those reflective columns there. I don't want to see my mass in that. Here's another ice cream shop down here, this time a Danish one. Anderson's Ice Creams. I think I've mentioned before, I've got a bit of Danish blood in me. And one of my fondest memories of a child was getting around Tivoli Gardens with my Danish grandfather, who purchased myself and my sisters a big scoop of ice cream at Tivoli Gardens, and they were quite expensive, and we were only little kids, and of course we couldn't eat it all, it was that big, and he was so devastated that we wasted it that he was picking up all 3 ice creams and trying to eat his money's worth, and it's quite amusing. And I still remember the flavour, it was choc chip. Or whatever their equivalent was. But it was just a big scoop of vanilla with some chocolate bits in it. Don't know whether you saw this sign up on the International Convention Centre here, but just before there was a Back to the Future logo. And there's supposed to be some sort of Back to the Future event happening on November 30. So Back to the Future, the movie, you know, Michael J. Fox and the rest of the gang. I wonder if it'll come up again as we walk past. Doesn't look like it's going to. Alright, Darling Square, here we are at Steam Mill Lane. Let's see what we can capture as we walk through this laneway. A few gift shops at the start here. Joint back there is called Wing Boy. Obviously they do chicken wings, but it looks like they do burgers and fries and all such things. Tell you what, it smells bloody beautiful down this laneway. Alleyway for the Americans. Oh, there's a Pancakes on the Rocks location. There's a blast from the past. Just good to see this still going though. There's a few people in Darling Square proper there, eating around the outside of the green. For any of you peeps overseas that are planning a trip to Sydney, Darling Square is located between Haymarket, Chinatown and the International Convention Centre at Darling Harbour. Guys back there smashing some bowls of noodles, probably laxers as well. Oh, we might as well sneak into Chinatown. I know you Northern Hemisphere folk are pretty keen on seeing the sunshine, so that's why I came out today, Thursday, because I knew it was going to be sunny today and thunderstorm will be later in the day, and then I think we're going to have a few rainy days after that. So I thought I'd get out today and give you a bit of sunshine, so a bit of a freestyle video. Didn't know where I was going to start until I found that burger joint. What's happening in the old Dixon Street? Not much, pretty quiet. Still there, walking along here in the shade, I can smell the telltale different herbs and spices that you associate with Chinese cooking. Where's that music coming from? That's the guy with his saxophone on the corner over there, outside Market City, outside the old Paddy's Markets. We won't walk down Hay Street this time, we always take Hay Street. So let's walk up to Campbell Street instead, crossing over George Street here, Chinatown light rail stop in view. They've actually got a sign pointing to the Thai restaurants now. They say this way to Thai Town. But really there's Thai restaurants on George Street as well. There'll be no coffee today because I've already had two. I've already had a flat white and a piccolo this morning. It's got some decent age to it, that building there. 1892. O'Neill's. Oh, and M. O'Neill next door as well, 1884. And the one with the horse on it, the horse head up the top, I can't see what year that is, but they're all old ones. Again, a collection of buildings that I've never bothered to pay attention to as I've walked past. They got playing at the Capitol Theatre now. Sister Act. Some Thai desserts for sale here. I think I've covered those before when I've walked past. Let's keep going down Campbell Street. We'll pass by the Chamberlain Hotel here. So remember on the corner over there where there used to be an outdoor parking lot? Wonder what they got going on there now. We'll take Campbell down to Elizabeth, walk up Elizabeth, and then get into Central Station so I can get on the Iron Horse. That lady didn't look too happy to be filmed, but unfortunately for her, it's a public space. There's a Thai restaurant on the corner here. Decent size, plenty of people in there. There you go, we're actually walking through the Matrix tunnel this time. This is where Keanu Reeves gets picked up in the Matrix, the first film. Right here where this green stripe is. In the background you can see a few lights from the Surrey Hills Hotel when he gets picked up. And then looking back this way they show the back of the car and falling down from the railway tunnel here is a bunch of water because it's supposed to be raining in the movie. As I get around Sydney, I always mention a few of the spots that we used in The Matrix. Sorry if you get bored of that, but I just can't help myself because it was such a groundbreaking movie at the time. A big brown apartment building over there. That's where the Sharpies golf house used to be, with the lovely big neon sign of the golfer whacking a ball into the hole. Suppose I better get to the Powerhouse Museum one day and see the old neon sign that's been not restored, it's been retained. I think the Powerhouse Museum's got it, that's what I'm told anyway. Bit of a queue on the corner there. Still along Elizabeth Street here, there's still tattoo parlours and backpacker hostels like there always has been, going back many years. There's yet another rendition of Wicked, the movie, that one. The musicals made of it. They just won't stop. They keep remaking it. Must be popular. I've seen the movie, but I've never been to the stage show. Yeah, there you go. There's Reservoir Street there. There's Single O down there. Could get, well, you know what, I'm tempted to go down there and get a coffee, but I'm going to refrain. Could get on the Iron Horse. Yeah, these trees along this part of Elizabeth Street here, they've definitely got a lot larger in the last 10 years. They used to be a bit shorter back in the day. So there's a lot more shade along here, and they've put in a lot of greenery as well. Some of these ferns and shrubs along here. It's beautiful walking along here. It's a hell of a lot better walking in that bloody sun, I tell you. Starting to sweat up a storm when I made that stop under the expressway to change the battery. When I used to work in Surrey Hills back many moons ago, I used to walk along this path quite often to come down to the bus stop around the corner. I used to catch the bus out to Clovelly, the Clovelly bus, because it was closer to where I lived in Beach Street. Hear the trains scraping on the tracks above us. Someone's made themselves a pretty decent encampment there in the tunnel. There she is. There's the clock tower of Sydney's Central Station. A welcome sight, because it means I'm almost at the end of my little skirt around the city. So just in case the camera craps out, I'll say goodbye to you here. as we make our way into Central Station. That tradie back there put the pedal down, tried to give me a scare. There goes the light rail out to South Juniors at Kingsford. Yeah, I was going to say goodbye to you, weren't I? As the return tram comes the other way, I'll say goodbye to you. Thanks for coming on the little skirt today. See you in the next vid. The video is over.